Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Williamson. I am the 2020 Chairman of the Board of the Corona Chamber of Commerce, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today and welcome you to our weekly Corona Business Call. We have another great agenda for you today where we're going to talk about a lot of pertinent things in our lives here in California and things and information that you need to know about. And we really, again, are grateful that you're here to join us. Today, I'm going to be sharing the agenda with our chair-elect, Kim Maybon from Creative by Design. She'll be doing updates and announcements with us, so you don't have to just look at me and hear what I have to say. Kim, please tell us about today's sponsor, if you would.
Thank you, Don. Today's event is sponsored by Atkinson Walsh. Atkinson Walsh is a joint venture by Atkinson Construction and Walsh Construction. Atkinson Construction has been building our nation's infrastructure since 1926 and is known for the excellence in constructing highly engineered and complex projects. Walsh Construction was incorporated in 1949 and is recognized as one of the most respected general contracting, construction management, and design build firms in North America. Together, they formed a partnership for the 91 expansion project. If you are interested in sponsoring our chamber call, please contact the chamber.
Thank you, Kim. As always, we're going to have speakers today, and you will have a chance to interact with the speakers, but you have to do it with the chat box. So what you need to do is send a message via chat box. It goes to Stephanie here. Stephanie then collects the questions and then forwards them into our speakers. There's also people watching on Facebook, so there's a lot of participants here that we don't like to duplicate questions, and to keep some form of order, this is how we handle that. The Corona Chamber works hard every day to help our members, and this call is one of the benefits of membership here. Here you get a lot of updates from the people who are on the front lines of decision making and implementing the decisions and the policies that affect us all every day. We are grateful to our speakers as well, who take their time and prepare to get ready and give their presentations to us. I'd like to kick things off today with our Executive Leadership Roundtable. The Executive Leadership Roundtable, I think should be a slide up there, is a committee that we do annually. They get together and what they do, they put together a community service project, but mostly you learn about the region. You learn about every facet of it: government, military, nonprofits, businesses. It's one of the best things we do. It's a great way to interact and develop relationships in the community with a variety of professionals from all different businesses, all different venues. You get civic, community, business leaders together. And I encourage you, if you haven't gone through the program, to look into it, see if it's right for you. It's one of the most valuable things I've done. And again, I've lived here a long time. I've lived here since I was 3 years old, and I learned so much more from participating in the Executive Leadership Roundtable. And at this time, I'd like to welcome a participant of this year's roundtable to talk about their fundraiser and current project. Please welcome Mr. Mark Edwards.
Mark, you are still muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Don. Appreciate that. Many of you probably have heard of the project More Than a PB&J that we started well back on the program this past year through the ELR, and this was an easy project for us. And just knowing that the 100,000 troops that actually go through that facility, we're only getting a PB&J, just kind of touched our heart, and we wanted to try to help those 100,000 active duty that go through there annually. One of our local residents, a member of the chamber as well, Chef James, he was additionally touched by this because of some housing issues that his mother experienced when they were here in the 60s, moving into the area, and she was a member of that base and a member of the armed services serving our country. And so what he wanted to do was put together this community service project and help us out with a barbecue to continue to raise money. We've raised about $50,000 so far for upgrades to the kitchen, Wi-Fi, and other things that the troops need. And this is just another step in the direction of actually getting a little bit more money for all of the troops that, again, go through that facility every single year. So what we're doing is on October 17th, having a barbecue. That barbecue, we tried to have that in person, but due to COVID, we figured a drive-through barbecue would be the best option for us to be as safe as possible for our residents. And so that will take place from 2 to 5 p.m. on the 17th of October. So just a little over 3 weeks away, about 3 weeks away, right there in the Chamber of Commerce parking lot. We'll have lanes set up. We'll have times that people will be able to come by and pick up a meal. And we'll also have a very extensive menu that 3 different meats, all the fixings. It'll be truly a great meal, but the donations are what we're looking at. For the event, $60 for individual donations, and any donations of 10 or more will be $50 per. So we're looking for your support and getting the word out in order to join us on the 17th at the Chamber of Commerce. You can reach out to myself. I'll put my information in the chat, as well as being able to contact the Chamber for more information and for tickets. So I appreciate all of your support on this project, and look forward to seeing you on the 17th.
Thank you, Mark. Stephanie, any questions for Mark?
No questions. We did put the link in the chat if anybody would like to get tickets to that fundraiser.
And congratulations to Mark and his class for the Executive Leadership Roundtable. This is a fantastic project, and kudos to them for continuing, even though their class is over. They're all hanging in and still working hard, raising money to support our troops, and that's really commendable. So Mark, thank you and your class very much. Very, very appreciated and very admirable of you guys to keep up the work.
Yeah, thank you, in the Chamber, for the opportunity.
And just a reminder, today is the last day to submit an application for our next Executive Leadership Roundtable class. Please get involved and contact the Chamber of Commerce here. You can call Stephanie or Desiree and try to hook that up. And I know you won't be sorry. No one ever is. It's really a wonderful program. Thank you. Next up is our Riverside County Economic Development Manager, Mr. Rob Moran. Rob is responsible for implementing business, attracting businesses, retention, and workforce development programs throughout Riverside County. And that's a big job that Rob has, because we're a pretty big county from Arizona almost to the ocean. He is the proud father of 2 daughters, and at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Rob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the call, and I appreciate the kind introduction. I'm also glad to have a new computer where I can see my full face on the screen, so I'm excited. But wanted to share a few items. First and foremost, you heard me before on previous calls talk about our Business Ambassador Program, our grant program. So I'll start with the first, which is the Business Ambassador Program. As you know, the state has a tiered framework for reopening and guidance and checklists for different businesses and sectors on how to reopen. And at times it can be confusing at best on what you can and cannot do in different tiers. The county has a program that offers assistance to business owners at no cost. You're already investing in these programs through your tax dollars, where we can pay a visit either in person, virtually, or on the phone, and kind of go through what these safe reopening guidelines are, what things you should be considering to do with your business, and sanitation, spacing, if you have different components to your operation, how those may or may not integrate. And we offer this business toolkit that also provides information, a package of information. We will even give you some masks, and we do have those available still, and PPE. And then we'll also share non-COVID related business assistance information. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of programs at the county, state and federal partners offer to businesses in normal times, and we'll share that information with you. So please encourage you, come to our website, rivcobizhelp.org, and you can request a consultation, or you can reach out to me. More than happy to connect you. Our Business Ambassador program is run through our office. And again, it is a free service, and take advantage of it because we know that even businesses that have a pretty good grasp on this, there's always little components that sometimes they miss or aren't very clear. So I want to start with that. And then our grant program. So that's a kind of a share sort of good news, bad news. The grant program has done very, very well. However, we are oversubscribed at this point in this particular region of the county. We've divided up into different sections of the county. So unfortunately, we are only accepting applications in our 5th district, which is Mineral Valley, Paris, and Beaumont area. We are still processing applications. So if you applied into round 3, we're not done processing yet. So please don't, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get funded. It just means we're still processing those grants. But we are in effect basically oversubscribed at this point. It was a $45 million pot. And due to the success of the program, business taking advantage of it, we are only accepting and processing applications in certain parts. So again, good news, bad news sort of thing. We don't know if we will have any more funding. The money for this program came through the CARES Act, which must be spent by the end of the calendar year. And this year has gone by way too quickly, and we're nearing that deadline. So I wanted to share that with you. Also wanted to share, I alluded to the fact that there's numerous state programs that are out there that benefit, including if you're manufacturers for sales and use tax exemption, if you're buying equipment. If you're in the advanced transportation or advanced manufacturing, there's full sales tax exemptions. California competes tax credit, research and development tax credit, different employment training panel, workforce development programs. I want you to know that there's a whole slew of programs that are available to assist you through the county and our other partners that are not COVID related. They're available pretty much year round, and we certainly want you and your business community to take advantage of these programs. And that's one of the things we try to share during our Business Ambassador program, which we will continue post-COVID so that we keep working to get the word out. Foreign trade zones, what are the advantages of those types of programs? So we want to continue to promote those and share that information with you. Another important event happening on October 13th, the morning of October 13th, the UCR Center for Economic Forecasting and Development. You know Dr. Chris Thornburg. He is going to be providing his annual economic forecast with federal, state, and local reports and information. And he gave us about a half-hour preview last week. And I encourage you to be on it. It is no cost this year, free. And he's going to go in depth into what's happening at those 3 levels and provide his projections for the coming year. And I can tell you that if you heard Chris earlier this year, he was pretty optimistic and pretty bullish. And while that's tempered a little bit, he still has a very favorable outlook about our economy in this region. And I think it would be important for you to listen to it. And I tell you, he's got a lot of great information he's going to share, probably more than you need, but it is really helpful. And one of the things that he constantly tries to battle is what he calls miserableism. And that is something we certainly heard a lot of negative and dark things over the last 6 months, of course. But I think Chris is going to provide some optimism about our economy and what's happening. So please take advantage of it. You don't often get it for free. Every year there's usually a charge. And I think this would be good for businesses, chamber members, and all sorts. So please, October 13th, the 2020 Inland Empire Economic Forecast. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And, one of the questions that has come up consistently over the last 6 months is, are there commercial tenant protections? You've seen a whole slew of programs for residential tenants, eviction moratoriums and so forth. And the governor did issue an executive order just a few days ago. We're still reviewing that, but what it appears to do at this point in time is allow local jurisdictions. It doesn't necessarily ask a statewide prohibition or moratorium, but it allows local jurisdictions to take action. We're still analyzing that information, but I just wanted to put that out there because we know it's been a big concern over the last 6 months or so during the pandemic. But it doesn't appear to be a statewide order or protection. It just looks like a statewide order that allows multiple jurisdictions to take action. So I wanted to share with you that we're taking a close look at that, and we'll share more information as we have it. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation this morning. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moran. We really appreciate it. Stephanie, do we have any questions?
One so far. First, Rob, if I could have you put in the chat your contact information in case anybody wants to reach out. You shared a lot of great information today. We will also send out about that event on the 13th with Dr. Thornburg in our recap so people can look at that. The one question we have so far, so if anybody else still has one, type it in the chat now, is regarding the funding that you had mentioned that is only available currently for District 5 because all the others have been used up. If the businesses in District 5 don't end up utilizing the rest of that pot that's available for them for those business grants, will that money be reallocated to the other businesses that have applied in the other districts, or will it go back to the federal government, or how's that going to work?
That's a great question, Stephanie, whoever asked that. Appreciate that. And no, our intention is not to let any of that money go back to the federal government otherwise. I think that's a discussion because our round 3 grant period ends at the end of October. That's a discussion that as we get closer, we think we will utilize that in that district. But if we don't, I think that's a conversation that needs to happen at the county supervisor level, and whether or not how they want, if and when that occurs, how they wish to redistribute that.
Thank you. No more questions at this time.
Thank you. Again, Rob, thank you so much for joining us again today. Great job. We really appreciate you coming on and giving us the information. Thank you. Kim?
Thank you to the businesses shown on the screen now for the Corona Golf Classic, of course, when that slide loads, which will be held on October 29th. There's just a few sponsorships left. If you need help gathering a foursome, don't worry. We'll invite frontline healthcare workers to golf with your team. Sponsorship is a great way to get your business recognized, build relationships, and have fun. And just a reminder for those of you who are not yet a member, or if you know of any neighboring business that would find chamber membership beneficial, please connect with Robert Yanez to become part of our chamber family. We do service a regional landscape. If you refer a member, you will get a free advertisement in the Corona Business News. Don?
Thank you, Kim. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce to you Chad Willardson. Chad is the founder and president of Pacific Capital and is a certified financial fiduciary accredited wealth management advisor and chartered retirement planning counselor. Oh man, I hope that's not all on his business card. Wow. He is passionate about financial education and believes that with the right tools and resources, people can be empowered to make smart money choices. Chad is our elected city treasurer here in Corona. He is a resident of Corona along with his wife and 5 children. And he's here to talk about his new book, which is really exciting, that Chad Willardson wrote a book. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chad Willardson.
Thank you, Don, and thanks to the Chamber for having me on for a second. Stephanie, you want to go to that next slide? So as Don mentioned, I am the elected city treasurer, and whether you like it or not, I think I'm in for another 4 years because no one else is running. So it's going to be very lonely on the ballot in about 5 weeks, but I am grateful for the support. I'm thankful to be able to give back a little bit in the city. I do want to give a quick report that we have increased our income earnings in the investment portfolio that I manage for the city, which is now over $350 million. We've increased the income earnings by double-digit growth each year of the past 4 years. So I do have some positive news there. I know there's a lot of negative news about politics and you know, the city and the challenges that we're facing. But I joined that opportunity as a business person first, never having any political background, just because I wanted to help us be better with our money. So quick stats before I show you my book. Small businesses comprise what share of the U.S. economy? You'd be surprised to know that most U.S. employer firms are small businesses. 64% of the net new private sector jobs come from small businesses like all of you. Almost 50% of private sector employment. So at least half of the people out there are employed by or have a spouse employed by a small business. 98% of the firms exporting goods are small businesses, and 43% of the private sector payroll small businesses. So small business is the backbone of the economy. When you support small business, you're supporting a dream. The 3 challenges for small business owners right there in the middle top of the slide is cash flow. It's your people, your employees, recruiting and retaining who you've got, and marketing and advertising. And I know we've got a lot of great business owners here on the call who can help support in all 3 of those areas. So I just wanted to highlight that. And if I haven't met you before, if you see me in political stuff as a city treasurer, just know that I am a small business owner. I own 2 businesses in Corona. One is Pacific Capital, and one is the Draft. I'm a co-owner of the Draft Sports Complex. So big supporter of the chamber and small business here. I wrote a book, and it's taken me a couple years to finally get it done. It was a lot harder than I thought, but it came out yesterday. And so Bobby and Stephanie and Dawn were nice enough to give me a chance to share a little bit about that today. We just got our first copies yesterday in the mail, so I'm very excited to actually finally hold it. It's real. But the book is called Stress-Free Money, and the subtitle is Overcome These 7 Obstacles to Find Financial Freedom. I feel like the timing is great for this because most of us can relate to feeling some kind of anxiety or stress about our financial life. And that's applicable whether you're just starting out in your business or whether you've got a very high income and a very successful business. There are still things that you're looking to optimize or improve, or maybe there are some things that you've been procrastinating. So, you know, financial challenges and stress and anxiety about money is right up there for cause of divorce, for, you know, health challenges. It's something that we all face. And so my hope was with this book, I'll be able to share some great insights that will help you overcome some of those common obstacles and get your mindset in the right spot so that you can be on your path to financial freedom much sooner than you otherwise would have been. It's an easy read. It's on Amazon. You've got the Kindle discounted this week for 99 cents. So it's hard to argue that it's not going to be worth $1. I hope it is. Anyways, that's it. Thank you. If you're interested to pick it up, it's on Amazon, and I just really appreciate your guys' support. So thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Stephanie, do we have any questions for Chad?
No questions, but we did go ahead and put that link in the chat if anybody would like to check it out.
Yeah, I've never read a book before, so Chad, I hope this will be the first one I read.
I'll send you the audio book. How's that? It'll be easier to listen.
I'm sure there's a lot of pictures. And hopefully you'll do a book signing.
I'd love to. I'd be happy to sign any of the books for anyone in the chamber for sure.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you again, Chad, and congratulations on completing your book and getting it actually in your hand. I know that's a good feeling.
Donnie, before we go, I'm so sorry. Chad, do you want to talk about your Q&A tomorrow?
Oh, yes, thank you. So tomorrow, since we don't really have a book signing party per se, we do have a Facebook Live. I'm being interviewed by a media group out of the East Coast, and it's on Facebook. It's a live, it's kind of like our launch party, if you will, at 11 a.m. on Facebook Live. So I put it up on our family page, and the chamber, I think, also put it up on their page. But it's 11 o'clock. I could post the link in the chat for anyone. There's a lot of Q&A. We're going to be giving away a lot of things besides the book. So thank you for mentioning that. And last night I did find out we did hit 3 or 4 different bestseller lists in the financial and economic categories in the first day. So unexpected, but very grateful.
That's great, Chad. Well done. Okay, moving on. I want to remind you again that today's event is sponsored by Atkinson Walsh. As we mentioned earlier, Atkinson Walsh is a joint venture by Atkinson Construction and Walsh Construction. By collaborating on the 91 expansion together, they created hundreds of jobs for contracted employees, and they caused an economic boom here within our region. They were very, very visible here during that expansion project. They had an office here in Corona. They came to the chamber meetings and gave us updates. They did a really great job on keeping us updated on what was going on and their role in it. So again, they're our sponsor today. If any of you on the call are interested in sponsorship, we certainly welcome you and to participate and support this effort that we do every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Kim?
Thank you, Don. Our next Good Morning Corona will be Friday, October 16th. Both virtual and in-person tickets are available. Congressman Ken Calvert is our invited keynote speaker. Register by the end of today, September 30th, and receive a raffle ticket to be drawn at the Chamber's Golf Tournament on October 29th. Your chance of winning a 50-inch flat screen TV, a Fender Stratocaster guitar, or a $200 worth of gift cards for local restaurants. By registering today, you will also get the early bird pricing, which gives you $15 worth of savings. I'm going to turn it back to Don, and on the next announcement slides, you will see the various items and how to secure more tickets.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, opportunity tickets are available now. Sales of these tickets allow us to include more of our local healthcare heroes in our golf tournament. You get a chance to win those great prizes, including the gift cards, the big screen smart TV, and the Fender. By the way, the Fender guitar has the Chamber logo on it, which is pretty cool. You can get tickets. One ticket is $20, 6 are $100, and you get 40 tickets for $500. Kim?
Register today for Paul Webb's very popular workshop coming up on Thursday, November 5th. Paul is a licensed NLP master trainer with over 43 years of sales experience. The focus will be on personality types. If this workshop is your first, don't worry. Paul will do a quick review before going on to new material. It is free for members when you register by today. Don?
Thank you, Kim. It's time now to turn our attention to our main topic. And I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Gibson, who is with Occidental Communications Group, who is our chamber advocate and advisor for all things political. Jeff does extensive research on the propositions, and he's going to enlighten us on why we should support or oppose certain propositions that he's going to discuss today. We did the first half of the propositions last week, and we're going to do the second half today. So this time I'd like to turn it over to Jeff Gibson.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it. So last week we went through the first 6 propositions on your ballot or thereabouts. And just to review very quickly, won't get into each of them, but the positions, just in case you missed them. Prop 14 is a no. California does not need to issue bonds to fund private medical research on stem cells when there's billions of dollars in the marketplace to do that. Prop 15 is a no. It's the largest property tax increase ever proposed by any state anywhere. And we agree with Willie Brown and a number of minority-owned business groups, including the NAACP, that oppose because of the incredible impact it has on small businesses, like Chad Willardson was just talking about. Prop 16 is a no because it would re-implement hiring and demographic quotas in California, despite all of the progress that we have made over the years. And so that is a no. Prop 17 is a no because felons on parole should not be able to vote for judges and DAs. So keeping felons on parole from voting is something that we oppose. Prop 18, which is 17-year-old voting, is a no because it violates federal code and is going to tie up the state in needless lawsuits. Prop 19 is a yes. That was property transferability for seniors, emergency victims, and disaster victims. and that brings us to today's issues. So Prop 20, we are advising a yes position on Prop 20 because it's a common sense sentencing and judicial reform that will curb the tremendous increase in violence and property crimes that we are seeing in the state. It's sponsored by the Riverside DA. He was here just a couple of weeks ago talking about it, and the coalition of California DAs and sheriffs that are seeking to restore the business protections into the property crime code that have been on the books in California for over 100 years. And so it raises the threshold or lowers the threshold and makes it easier to convict gangs of violence and a number of different crimes. It's extremely important because California is facing its toughest crime year since the original passage of 3 strikes and you're out. And so this is something that is really damaging to the economy, obviously, as we can see. Prop 21 is we have taken a strong no position. This is Sacramento trying to force local communities into adopting rent control. This is a major, major problem. The voters voted in 2018, 60 to 40, to void any statewide ability to enforce rent control. The same group of people have come back and are now trying to instead of enforcing it from the state, are going to try and force local agencies to enforce rent control to statewide standards. So it's actually, in my opinion, worse because you can be a community that voted vociferously, like Corona did in 2018, against rent control and be forced by the state to enforce it. And so you may be a city council person that's against it, your entire city may oppose it, but as with districts and a number of different so-called reforms, we don't need more of Sacramento in Corona. We need more ability for Corona to decide what's best moving forward. Prop 22 is a issue that we've been very active in, deals with the ability of independent contractors, in this case, those that work for app-based companies, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, etc., to continue to work independently. And this is based on a Supreme Court decision that was backed by labor unions in an effort to unionize Uber and Lyft workers, but it ended up eliminating 750,000 jobs in California. Many of them are for services that you rely on. This doesn't fix the entire problem, unfortunately, but it does fix the app-based contractor issue. And for that reason, we are in favor of it. Prop 23, we have a neutral issue. It changes the rules of operation for dialysis clinics. And while dialysis clinics are businesses, this is a healthcare issue that there are friends of the chamber and others on both sides, and this is something that we urge you to look at personally and decide on your own. Prop 24 is a no. This would create a state agency to enforce the California Consumer Privacy Act. We all agree that your data online should be kept private. Unfortunately, the California Consumer Privacy Act specifically treats every small business with a web page that may be going through a commercial service that, for instance, stores your data so that you can register your website, for instance. Well, now you would have to verify that with the state and pay an additional fee, and an additional fee, and an additional fee. Our experience with the creation of state and federal agencies are that whatever they are called to when they're founded to fix a problem, actually end up causing a host of different issues for businesses and employers, and therefore we are opposed. And then Prop 25, our final proposition that we're looking at, it ends cash bail. And wherever this has been tried, whenever this has been tried, it ends up with a sharp increase in property crime. You can see in the 23 cities that have been struck by riots and looting that leaving out any of the reason for the peaceful protests in the beginning, but if they've been struck by riots and looting, that those cities have implemented no cash bail systems. And so if you have someone who has created a great deal of property damage, they aren't even arrested. Why? Because if they were arrested, they would be given a citation to appear. And in many cases, they don't even live in the jurisdiction in which they're creating the trouble. And this goes on now on a regular basis. Here again, we're getting into property crimes, we're getting into gang crimes. And if you eliminate cash bail, what that essentially has done is it puts the criminal back on the street right after the property crime. And currently in the state of California, they're phasing out cash bail, but the legislature has the ability to recreate it. If Prop 25 is passed, it will be in the Constitution. And at no point can a judge or a DA or the legislature come back and request that someone be held in a bail situation. And so instead of putting it in the Constitution, we have to be very careful about putting things in the Constitution. And we have to be very careful about taking them out. And that's why we are opposed to it. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. With that, I kick it back to you guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks so much for the explanations on these complex propositions. I don't know how many people know that California is actually one of the few states that has this process where we can put these things on the ballot like this. Stephanie, do we have any questions for Jeff?
No, he actually did such a great job explaining that there are no questions about what he talked to us about. There was one in the chat asking the recommended voting information to be emailed out, which we will be doing.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Jeff, thank you again so much. We always appreciate hearing from you every week on this call, and consider you a real asset for the business community here at the Corona Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank all of our guest speakers today for sharing their thoughts and insights on what's going on today. And I just want to remind everybody that if you're not a member, or if you know a business that's not a member that would benefit from being a member, which is every business, to contact the Corona Chamber of Commerce, reach out to Robert Yanez, whose smiling face you can see there. And every week I'm telling you the importance of belonging to this Chamber of Commerce. As you've heard from our speakers today, most businesses are small businesses. There's not a lot of clout with the legislatures, well, as much as a group like the Chamber of Commerce. When you join the Chamber, you share that clout that we have, the attention that our opinions receives from those that are the decision makers and who are our representatives. So I can't endorse strongly enough your membership in the Corona Chamber of Commerce. So if you're not a member, if you know someone who should be a member, please give Robert a call. As a reminder, also one final thank you to Atkinson Walsh. Been in business since 1926, almost 100 years. Again, thank you. I want to thank them for their sponsorship today, and a reminder that if you're interested in sponsoring it, please contact us. Remember to register for next week's call. This call is every week, and if you want to register permanently, send a email over to Stephanie, and she can hook you up with that. So again, thank everybody. Everyone did a great job, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you very much.